Okay, I'm going to try to explain this whole thing one more time. I did this twice before with my cell phone and it crashed the movie halfway through, so here we go using my work camera. What we got here is my guitar rig, and as you can see, I've been working on it quite a bit. I was going to give a walkthrough here. These are the cases. I got covers for the speakers, for the PA system, the guitar, the lid for the effects control pedal board, and covers for the amp and mixer. This is one of the QSC KW Series 153 three-way speakers that I got recently after coming back from my trip. Probably can't see it too well, but there's a 1,000-watt amplifier back there to drive this one speaker, and the one over in the other corner has the same thing. This is the Marshall that I got in Abu Dhabi from England, which I converted to 115 volts, and a speaker cabinet that I got recently, and that's 6 12s there, so there's more than enough power with 100 watts, 3 channels. There's a clean channel, there is a crunch channel, and there's a lead channel, and reverb, and effects loops, and virtual power reduction switch, so I can push it down to 25 watts if I want to. Really nice amp. It sounds really great. I had some problems with it because it's a tube amp, but I think that's kind of normal for tube Marshalls. And there's the SG, which I got for a really good price, I thought, at Guitar Center. It was $1,000. There wasn't a mark on it. These things retail for $3,200. The whammy bar is a Bixby B5, which I installed myself and then had my guitar tech set it up for me properly. The pedal board I've been working on quite a bit lately. It was an interesting exercise. It basically is set up so that my guitar plugs in on the curly cord, which goes into the ABY box. You can see the blue light there, and I can switch that so that it runs into the tuner, which is sitting right above it, and dead ends there, so I can tune silently, or I can switch it back, in which case it goes to this orange box here called a layman. It's a German-made thing that has a very special transformer in it. There's no switches or batteries or power or anything that goes to that. It's completely passive. But the transformer is made to run at the frequencies and the power levels that the guitar signal comes in at, and then completely separates the signal into 2 paths without any kind of hum or bleed over, which is apparently a pretty good trick, because initially I was trying to do that with that ABY switch and I had a horrible hum problem, so the Lely fixed that, and for that reason alone it's worth its weight in gold. Anyway, once it comes off the Lely splitter, the analog path goes through this wah-wah pedal, which acts as a volume pedal as well. I can click it like that, and when the light comes on it's wah-wah. When the light goes off it's a volume pedal, which comes in handy for reasons I'll explain a little later. And then this little box right here is a compressor that kind of squeezes the sound. It's real good for chicken picking and for adding a little bit of kind of organic sustain. The full drive is kind of a boutique pedal that made by a company called Full Tone, which is one of their original versions, and it's kind of pretty highly sought after. There's not that many of the originals made, and some people like them better. Basically just a boost pedal, gives a lot more smooth, creamy sustain, so that you can get that at low volumes, and really when you want to pull out all the stops, you can add it on top of the Marshall sustain. The next thing is the Deja Vibe, which is a thing that Robert Trower used in his famous song Bridge of Sighs. It's a modulation pedal, and it gives kind of a swimmy texture to the music, and it has several modes. It's got a vibrato and a chorus mode. It's got modem or modern and vintage modes as well, and it works with some kind of a circuit that is an optical circuit inside. I don't know if you can see the light there that is throbbing on and off at the rate that the thing operates on. As you can see, as I adjust it, it changes speed like that. So you can change the rate, the throb rate, if you will. And then these two boxes here are both delay boxes. The one on the right is an analog delay, and the one on the left is a digital delay. And this is kind of cool. I've got this set up because I've got it set so that when you turn it on, I've got it set to a fairly fast delay, which just kind of expands the signal after the compressor would have compressed it. It kind of spreads it out, and then makes it sound larger, I guess, if you will, a slight echo. Well, when you hit the second button, it divides whatever rate you set it at, the repeat rate, in half. So if I set this at, say, 200, for example, which is about what it's set at right now, when I hit this button, it instantly changes it to 400 milliseconds in the delay rate. And then, if I want, I can use that in combination with the digital delay, which is sharper and less of a softer sound like the analog delay is, more accurate, but not quite as musical. But in any case, it can go faster. It can actually go up to 800, or actually slower, which is 800 millisecond delay. So in effect, what I've got here is 3 levels of delay. I can start with 200 millisecond, hit that, go to 400 millisecond, and I got this one set at 800 milliseconds, so it divides by 2 each time. I can use either of these two modes together, so I can have a 200 millisecond with a 800 millisecond slap, or I can have 400 milliseconds with an 800 millisecond slap, or I can use any one of these individually. So that's kind of fun. And then the other side of this Lely P-split, it's kind of cool because, I don't know if you can hear it, but I get a Mexican radio station when I'm not using it. The only switch I have there turns it on and off, and you can tell it's doing its job because you get the Mexican radio station when it's off. Got a little storage space up here and routing, a power cable. I've got a power supply up underneath. I don't know if you can see the lights under there, but should be some red lights glowing. That's distribution. And it's got 8 outputs that I'm using all of those outputs for all this stuff I've got here. 8 little DC 9-volt outputs. Back to the Lely splitter. Just explained all the analog stuff, with the exception of the Marshall pedal, which is just a channel switcher for the Marshall, a 3-channel Marshall. You got 3 channels, so you can switch here and reverb. And then the effects loop is broken. I don't know what's wrong with it. It just doesn't work. But it doesn't really matter because I just turn the effects all the way on, and if I don't want the effect, I turn it off down here. again, back to the Lely splitter. Just described all the analog stuff. What is on the other side of the splitter is my digital stuff. So it comes over here, and this thing is called a Boss GT6 multi-effects processor. And what it does, as you can see in the display there, I can roll this knob and I can dial up any one of 340 different effects. And then I can customize them with all these knobs as well, or I can build up my own effects from scratch if I want to fool with that. But it works like banks. So you can hit a bank switch, you see it changes the bank, and each bank has 4 distinct different effects that I can conjure up. So the cool thing here, the way it's set up, because I have a volume pedal over here and a volume pedal here, I can decide that, I just want to use analog right now, so I'll turn this volume off by pressing on the bottom here. Or I can say I want digital and no analog by doing it that way. Okay, so then if I decide I want them both, really pull out all the stops, pushing both down, and I've got a combination of the two, which I can then mix with this 12-channel mixer, because I've got stereo from the GT6 digital effects processor coming in here, and then in front of the amplifier I've got a microphone that comes in here, and then I can blend those two things together and balance the volume on the amplifier so that everything is kind of equalized and sounds good coming through these incredibly powerful 1,000-watt speakers I've got. Well, then I use this cable right here. I can plug in my MP3 player, which is my cell phone, and I can play backing tracks, and I can play my guitar along with the backing tracks, which also gets mixed in and comes out of the main speakers. Or, because this particular Mackie mixer is also basically a sound card for a computer that connects to the computer with this FireWire cable, goes into the laptop. I've got Cakewalk running in here. I've also got a hard drive for it that's got about 55,000 songs on it that I can use to learn from and practice with. Or, once I feel like I'm comfortable with the my playing, I can record it using the Cakewalk software that I've got in there. And the Cakewalk software takes in all 12 of these channels, and I can assign them, plug in whatever instrument or microphone for vocals that I want, and assign them in here on the Cakewalk software, and then record them in a project. And then once I've gotten the project, I can take the file home and work on it and sort of do the final mastering and mixing on my desktop PC at home. So, which is really a science in itself. equipment I've got right now, and just still really getting in the process of getting everything all set up and getting my pedal board the way I want it and making everything sound and balance the way I think it sounds the best, which is really takes a lot of time because, you know, it might sound good at low volume, but as soon as you turn it up a little bit, it doesn't sound good. Or when you get some other people in the room that are jamming with you or something, then, you know, everything goes out the window and you kind of have to start all over. And, you know, there's a lot more to learn. Oh, also, by the way, I've got this analog digital. I've got 3 digital delays now. This one here is another old vintage one. It's like a 34-year-old pedal. Just about had it, really. But I use it kind of in retirement duty. In the back here, I can insert it on channel insert onto one of these channels, and then I can plug a microphone in here, and I can use that delay as an effect on the microphone so you don't have a real dry sounding microphone. So that works really good on my mixer. And then, can't remember if I mentioned, but I can organize things so that basically all this powerful stuff gets turned off. I can mute this amplifier right here with an output mute. There is on the back an XLR output that stays alive when it's muted. That goes into the mixer, and then I can practice with my pedal board or with my digital side, or both again, into the mixing board in complete silence through my Bose headphones. So, you know, in case the neighbors are still at work, I get off at 3, they got off at 5, so if I want to come in for 2 hours right after work, I can still practice in silence and not bother anybody. So really handy setup. The only thing I have left to do is get rid of these cardboard boxes that the speaker cabinets came in, and I'm working out a system here where I can take, I've got 2 of these tripods that I'm going to take that piece of conduit and bend it so that it's got an offset in it, and then I'm going to use 2 of these aluminum brackets, one for this. As you can see, I've got it set up there, and I've got the U-bolts in there already and everything. I'll get another one of those and use that for the laptop, and I'll kind of position them over the pedals just about the way I've got them right now once I get it all set up and they're safe and stable and everything. So that'll be the complete system, and at that point I think it'll be ready for, it'll be show ready, as they say. All I have to do at that point is get my repertoire together and incorporate all this equipment in the way that strikes my fancy. Thanks for watching.